What does that sound, you ask?
From the number one station, you come.
Welcome to the Rec Show podcast, a show dedicated to beat makers around the world. Kick back, relax with the host Golden Mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Yeah, what up? What's going on, everybody? I go by the name of David Golden Mind Hicks, and welcome back to another episode of the Rec Show podcast. A podcast for beat makers by a beat maker, man. Yo, trying to tell a beat maker story. Thank you for tapping in with me, man. Right now, you're listening to Stolen Drums. Yo, man. He got some ish on the way, man. So shout out to Stolen Drums. He just came out with a new drum pack as well, man. Y'all go ahead and support the homie. And yo, man, I've been a little under the weather. I'm pretty sure y'all noticed, man. I ain't been on socials like that, but yeah, man, been under the weather changing and stuff like that. So it caught me, had a little fever. Man, I had to lost my voice, all that type of stuff, man. But I'm getting back, man. About 80%, 85%. Trying to get back to our hundo, you feel me? So I hope everybody's, taking care of themselves. Yeah, man. So, yo, we're going to get right into it, man. This week, last week we were supposed to be talking to the homie, but this week we putting it out right now. And we are going from Texas all the way to London, man. We are talking to a beat maker who's been in the game for a good while now, man. Making his sound, making history, teaching, giving his jewels to the next generation of beat makers and music producers. Someone who supports beat culture like a mug. He just helped host a loop sessions in London maybe 4 weeks ago, somewhere around there. And yeah, man, he's you can't box this guy in either, man. He does everything. He does boom bap, he does, the dub fusion type joints, yo, man, it's ill, yo. So I asked him if he wanted to be on the show. He graciously said yes, and I'm humbled at the opportunity to spotlight this gentleman right here. We're going again to London, man. So we are talking, and I want y'all to help me welcome the one and only Dusty Ohms to the show. Everybody welcome Dusty Ohms to the show. And we're going to chop it up with him, man, and talk to him about his musical journey, what he's got going on, stuff like that, man. So y'all stay locked in, man. Stay tuned, and we will return with music weaving in and out of the conversation, and then also Dusty Ohms, man. So thank y'all again, man. I hope y'all count your blessings and not y'all's problems. Peace and love, yo. Woo, there's some spacely sprocket type joints, yo. Just feel good, yo. All right, yo. Peace and love, yo. Yeah.
Yo, this is Dusty Ohms, and you're plugged into the Rec Show podcast with Golden Mind. Hope you enjoy. Peace.
the one and only Dusty Ohms, man. London in the house, man. London, stand up, yo. Let's just kick this off real quick, man. So, for the internets that might not know you, Dusty Ohms, that should smack themselves by now, man, who may not be familiar with your work, with everything that you do as far as teaching, recording. Even I got a question about somebody in particular that's very special, near and dear to the hip hop scene as well. But go ahead and give the people a introduction to who you are, please.
Easy Golden Mind. I appreciate having me on the show, man. I've been tuned in since the Sens Beat episode. So yeah, it's been a while, and I check them regularly, so it's an honour to be on the show. Thanks for having me, man. Anyway, my name is Dusty Ohms. I'm from London. I've been making beats since about 2003. I think I bought a computer off my friend with Reason 2.0 on it, and DJing since about 97. So yeah, it's been a minute. Associated Collectives. I run a label called Smowal. That's a group of friends, myself, Super Saiyan, Sovereign Nation, Mobes, and Fat Rocky 50s. Yeah, we don't put out too many releases, but it's just a nice little platform for us pals to do our thing with. Also, Millennium Jazz, shout out to Gadget and all the gang over there. Who else have I been doing stuff with? Collective Resonance, different music for my more dance floor stuff. And I also do some bits for Uncomfortable Beats over in Melbourne. How was my name created? It was kind of just because I'd been doing the dubstep and grime thing as a duo called Fused Forces before. And around 2012, I decided to kind of go in the direction of making some hip hop and beats, because it's something I've always been interested in. And I just wanted to kind of hide behind, that's the whole point of the little illustration cowboy. I thought of a few names that I thought sounded alright, music based. And I thought Dusty Ohms sounds like it could be like a cowboy's name, as well as like the Dusty relevance and Ohms being to do with speakers and stuff. So no real depth to it, just thought it'd be cool to create a little alias and hide behind a little cartoon cowboy character, man. So that's about it, man.
That's dope, so Fusion Forces. All right, so we're gonna talk about that a little bit as well, man, because you make music with a lot of different people, but just to give a little bit more history, man, like how did you even begin your journey into making music in 90, I think you said 96 or 97, so how did that even begin?
Oh man, I think my journey into music, aside to the stuff that my parents would have exposed me to, my dad used to play a lot of records around the house and stuff, but in London, pirate radio was huge. Locking into various pirate radio stations would be where you'd get your fix of new underground music that you couldn't hear anywhere else. So I think that played a massive part of my journey into music. And then a friend's brother who had a set of decks then kind of solidified that was it was what I really wanted to do. As far as beats and sampling goes, kind of hard to remember the timeline, to be honest. All kind of blurs into one. I suppose an interest in hip hop, and then hearing those samples and breaks on like radio shows, or you'd be in a car or on the TV and being like, this is something that was used in like a track that you like for a hip hop beat. I can't really remember too much when that would have been. Like I say, it's just all kind of blurs into one. And as far as instruments go, I'd imagine it's probably quite easy to tell when you hear my music that I'm not classically trained in anything. I tried to learn guitar for a little while. I could play like a couple of simple little riffs, but no particular instruments really. Just kind of fumbled my way and worked out what I think sounds good, and that's about it really, man.
I agree, man. I always just ask that question just in case, anybody that isn't classically trained on an instrument kind of gets that confidence that, you know what I mean? Like, if you still making music and it sounds good and it feels good, like, you don't always have to be classically trained to create music, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I understand, like, you've been in it for a minute, the lines could get blurred and stuff like that, but I did want to ask you about who, like who in your family and friends exposed you to, music and beats, and, what genres were you listening to at that time as well?
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure it was just listening through stuff myself on MySpace. That was probably where I think that's where I started hearing things. I remember one occasion, my friend Emma One, who I make beats with, and he's a long time friend. We've always collected records, and I remember he picked up a Samurai Am release, and he didn't know what it was, so he was like, "Oh man, I think you might like this. It's a bit too weird for me," and he gave it to me. It was the EP on Hyperdub, and that just blew my mind, and I was like, "Oh man, this is sick. I'm gonna have a delve into it." And also, someone shared it recently. Radio station in London called Rinse FM. There's a guy called Code 9, and he had Flying Lotus over to guest on the show early on, like in his early years, and that was another thing that kind of blew my mind. But it was kind of through my own searching around on the internet that got me there. And what genres was I exposed to in that time? Around about the same time, running in parallel, pretty much, over here in London, we had the grime scene kicking off, same sort of time as all the like early LA beat stuff, and dubstep kind of like split. There was a kind of similar but not. There was some crossover stuff, which is how I discovered dubstep. But yeah, they were two genres that at the same time were running in parallel, and I was exposed to a lot of them. There was a lot of good events going on, radio. It was really vibrant and thriving in that time. It was it was pretty magical actually. I think it's the last genre that I will see that had that localized feel to it, because the internet was obviously about, but stuff was happening in little pockets, whereas now things spreads really quickly because of the internet, so straight away things can be global. I was really happy I got to experience that, like, feet first straight into it, because I was at a good age, whereas I missed drum and bass. I was a bit too young, and obviously hip hop I was well too young for when that first started coming about. But yeah, also as well around that time, I think I must have discovered footwork as well. That's another genre that blows my mind. I'm a big fan of it. There's a lot of good stuff, and I like the melting pot of styles now. I think a lot of the lines are blurred, and it's hard to even bracket a lot of stuff. It's the influences from each other just kind of make this nice electronic melting pot of sound. It's good.
So I'm still trying to get around to understanding, if you can, footwork, and like dubstep, like anything that anybody can do right now can be global, man. Like you said, with the internet, but everybody has their pockets of influences and stuff like that. I know you mentioned Fly Low. I know you mentioned Sam I Am, who's his music and his impact in the beat scene, the LA beat scene, is still being felt to this day, man. Still inspiring. I wish I can get him on the show as well, man, but one person at a time, man. I got you. Dusty Ohms, man, episode number 72. But let me ask you about that one moment that like sparks your interest in creating your own music. When did you know it was time to let the internet's or just people in general hear your beats and flips and stuff like that?
Do you know what? It's one of those things that kind of, it wasn't until it fell on my lap, I didn't really think about it. When we were younger, we had one friend who had a studio when, before you could make music in a DAW, and it was expensive, but no one really got to go in there. So I was heavily into DJing and collecting records and stuff, and it was only when my friend Moriarty, who was the other half of Fused Forces when we did that, he come out of the blue one day and rang me up, see if I wanted to go around there for smoking a few beers and that. And he had a computer and he was making tracks. And I was like, oh man, so you can just make music like that? And he's like, yeah. So I bought his old computer off of him with an old cracked version of Reason 2 on it. And took it home and that was it. Oh man, I remember. Just any spare time I got, I was just trying to make beats and learn. So that was, it was like an organic thing where I just knew as soon as I had the opportunity to make my own music, I wanted to do it. And how long did it take me? It took a little while, actually. It took till I was ready. Like I mentioned earlier, it was like around the MySpace days. And again, someone who I knew was like in a band, and he went, oh, there's this thing called MySpace, and you can just upload your music on there and people from around the world can like check it out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And at the time, my beats, when I listen to them now, they're terrible. But the closest thing was that because grime was in its infancy and people was making music on like PlayStation Music and that kind of software, it was real basic stuff. So my grime instrumentals were sounding more similar to that than the genres that had kind of evolved and got a good level of quality about them. So I think I started uploading stuff to the internet around about 2004 maybe.
Nice. MySpace is the start of a lot of people's music journeys, man. I wish, I kind of wish it was still alive and kicking, because what we got going on right now, we still got SoundCloud, right? So SoundCloud is still alive and kicking, man, to where if you want to discover music and music from around the world, you still can. I guess as we transition from MySpace, we transition to SoundCloud and some other platforms and stuff like that too. But yeah, man, that's amazing, man. I know first beats that come out, nobody's ever like, yo, these slap. These are amazing beats or anything like that. But these are, training what they learning beats and stuff like that. So, but from what I hear right now, man, like, yo, you definitely got some slappers, man, and it's a different feeling with each beat. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel it. What album was I listening to? I was listening to Don't Watch Others as well. But anyway, I'm skipping, man. Let me get back to the questions though. But if you're able to, can you name one song or beat as your greatest beat of all time? And who's the producer that created that beat as well and made it into something that just blew your mind, man?
Oh man, that is that's one tough question. I think, it's hard because it's kind of fluid and it depends on your mood on a day-to-day basis. But I think if I had to pick one, maybe I would go with Tea Leaf Dancers by Flying Lotus and Andrea Triana. I just love that. That is perfection. That's one beat I think I could listen to on loop and I never get bored of it. I absolutely love it. It's just it's just an absolute vibe, everything about it. And that's another really tough question because, to be honest, on like a daily basis I hear beat makers and producers that flip stuff. I'm just like, wow, how did you do that? Especially all the guys on Koala. Some insane stuff like with the chops and things. I don't know what I could pick really. I mean, it's a bit of a bait one from back in the old school, but Troy by Pete Rock. Even though it's kind of simple, the way he's managed to isolate everything and make the track he did out of the samples he did. That beat is, that's perfection, especially for the era and the equipment he would have had to have used. That's always something that I'll nod my head to,
Yeah, man. Yo, shout out to Koala Gang. Yo, we got so many Koala users that's like, I'm like, just like you, man. I'm blown away at what they are doing with these instruments, man, and these applications, the tools that we have now. Like, shout out to all the developers, man. That's what I want to say, man. Yo, shout out to all the developers that are creating these applications that are helping expand creativity. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people doing amazing things, man. And man, all you just thank you for helping Elf Audio, MSXI Sound. There's a lot of different people, man. That's Native Instruments, Akai Professional, like Ableton, even Serato Studio. With Serato Studio, I haven't had a chance to tap into that, but yeah, man, shout out to everybody, every developer that puts in the time, hard work, coding, and just making it to where we, the creators, can use it and make art. I appreciate y'all, man. But yo, man, Flying Lotus, can't go wrong. Pete Rock, the Godfather, man. Yo, you can't go wrong, man. Like, yo, let me ask you this: like, if I have mutants that are going through their own musical journeys, what are some required must-watch, read, or listen to content? It could be a movie, a documentary, or anything you would want to recommend that they watch this in order to expand their their knowledge or something.
Book-wise, I can't recommend enough Bedroom Beats and B-Sides. It's a fairly new book written by Laurent Fintoni, and it's like it joins the dots out of all the beat scene and how things started across little pockets in the globe, and even like the early days before it was even a thing. I'll probably read that again. Actually, it was a really interesting read. And there was another one called Perfecting the Sound Forever. I can't remember who that was written by, but that was another very eye-opening book on sound and audio. I recommend that as well. I'm sure it's going to be up there, but I've only just started reading Dilla Time. I'm only a little way into it, so I can't really say, but so far I'm like, wow. Obviously, it's going to be good. YouTube, there's a guy called, the YouTube channel is called House of Kush, and I really recommend it on mixing work, for like mixing your tracks. Instead of going down the approach that a lot of them do of like tips and do this and do that, it's more like a mindset thing and how to approach things and how to think about things, if you know what I mean. I recommend that. House of Kush, definitely check that out for learning how to mix. And another one is DiBiase's nephew, Lowkey. His YouTube channel is that's got some crazy good stuff on it, especially when he will make a track in a style of like Devon Who or whatever. He always nails it. That's always a good watch. I enjoy that. I think it's quite inspiring.
Yeah, man. Yo, low key. Like, I always wanted that. I would recommend Dilla Time. I have the book. I'm reading chapter by chapter as well, man. Amazing read. Bedroom Beethoven. Not Bedroom Beethoven's, but that's a podcast, But check that out too as well. That's another good podcast. Music podcast for the music producer beat makers. But the book for Fintoni, that's one I have I think I have it in my Amazon cart, but I wanna order it directly from the author, man. I feel like going direct to the source way better. Like I'm gonna go that way. But like you said, everything that you recommended, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the description of the show. So, hey, while you listening to this, scroll your thumb to the bottom, and you'll see the links that everything that he was talking about, man, and it'll take you directly to it. So, yo, I mean, that's just a labor of love. Like, I don't have to do that. I can just put the words and that's it. But I feel like that's just one more way for you to connect, and stay connected and learn something, and pass it on to other people that may be on the same journey as you, So, yeah, man, click the links in the description if you are interested in what Dusty Ohms is recommending as well, man, because I know I will be adding that to the recommendations list as well on YouTube. But so thank you, Dusty Ohms. So I gotta ask, because I don't see like a good portion of my guests, show what they're using on social media and stuff like that. But so I had to ask, like, what gear do you use to create your music? And then why do you use these certain pieces of equipment to create your music, which is outstanding. So I know you have your processes and stuff like that. Like, can you go into a little bit about how you create your music?
Stripped back my studio quite a bit. I moved quite a few times for a bit, and every time I moved, it kind of spurs you on. If you've got a piece of gear that you don't really use in that time, you may as well just get rid of it and let someone else make good use out of it. So there's a few things I've kept. There's some stuff in my rack. I've got a SPL vitalizer and a loop trotter saturator, which I always use on the master bus. For like cleaning stuff up and just making things sound nice and fat. I love those. They'll never leave. And I've got a Korg mini log and a micro brew. Is it micro brew? Micro freak. I've got one of those as well. They're the two synths that I mainly use now. Both kind of flexible, fun, make wonky stuff on them. I like if I'm going to use stuff, I like it, if it's going to be hardware, I like it to be kind of hands-on rather than doing a lot of menu diving. Because obviously when you're clicking around on a mouse, you're doing enough menu diving as it is. So I quite like things to be all on the panel so you can kind of, get a bit of a vibe. I use the SP303 quite a bit as well. That's something I don't think I'll ever sell. And the Digitech sampler is quite a staple in my studio. It took a while to gel with the Electron workflow, but it's one of those where once you get used to it, I really gel with it more than I did the MPC. I borrowed a MPC 1000 from my friend and I enjoyed it, and I made a few little bits on it, but I don't know, I think everyone's got their things that they kind of like, you just gel with, and you can't help that. They're the main things I use. I've got a few other little bits and bobs, like pocket operators. I would, for anyone who wants to do some like dirtying up of sounds and adding some lo-fi grit, to pick up the PO33 by Teenage Engineering. I think that's like less than like £100 or dollars, and honestly, it sounded better than my SP202, I think, for like grunging things up. The bit rate and filters on it, it's just a really fun little sampler for a cheap price. And then a bit of a workhorse for me is using Reason for my DAW of choice. I switched to Logic for a few years when we were recording a lot of vocalists, because Reason didn't have the capacity at the time. But it's one of those things, I've used it since I started and I'm just comfortable on it. And I always think, whatever you find most comfortable making beats on, just do that. Because they all get the same results really, don't they? Like once you're comfortable on it. I've thought about having a go of Ableton, but not just yet. I know a lot of people that use it, but I've not bothered. I've not bothered to jump over that yet.
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you for those recommendations, man. I actually been thinking about getting a micro Korg, just because I've been watching a lot of Dilla documentaries and some other documentaries as well while I've been sick. So why not educate myself and try and make myself better at making music while watching the greats and what did the greats use in order to make the music. So but the best way I can describe everything that you recommended is simplicity, now, you know, I guess that's the best way to put it, because everything you said has its place and does a certain thing for your music to sound the way that you want it to sound. So yeah, man, that's awesome, man. Like, not having a whole bunch of the different gear and stuff like that. It's okay to have different gear, but it's gotta be a part of the orchestra. If it don't do something in that orchestra when it's playing beats, like, why you even got it in there, man? Like, I think that's a tip that Illmind said one time when he was doing one of his videos, or I think it was his podcast too. But yeah, man, amazing. Trying to get a microKORG, so if anybody knows where I can get a microKORG, let me know. I need to add that to my repertoire. But yeah, man. You're more than a beat maker. You're a curator for the likes of like Loop Sessions London. You just did that 3 weeks ago. But then you're also a sound designer, a collaborator with the likes of Millennium Jazz Music and some others. Like, what's like you have your hands in so much going on, man. You're a teacher as well. Like, can you tell me a little bit about that, man, as far as doing so many things with so many different collaborators and stuff like that,
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I do try and have my fingers in quite a lot of pies. Yeah, I try and not be too busy, but it's hard. To say no to stuff and that when you get the opportunity. So yeah, I've been doing the most exciting thing is bringing Loop Sessions to London. You've been working on that since about 2020 when I discovered the Found in Montreal chapter online, took part, and then we spoke about doing it. So yeah, it's been cool working with Aural to do it in their studio. And yeah, we got another one in the Beat Bus, which is like a double-decker bus that we're doing at the 29th of December. So yeah, it's good trying to pull together the beat community in London. It's been an honour and really exciting to do. So yeah, it's been my latest venture, and I do some sound design work, sample packs and stuff. I haven't done as much of that lately as I used to, but yeah, it's good work, it's fun. I think it's a good way to explore your gear and plugins and whatever you've got in interesting ways that you wouldn't necessarily do when you're making a track. You kind of like push the boundaries a little bit, and when you're just trying to sculpt sound rather than being in the flow of a tune and finding something to fit, you come up with some really interesting results. And yeah, also the Millennium Jazz thing, I've been working with those guys since about 2014, I think, and any compilations, any projects Gadget's got, I'm always on it. So yeah, they're a good bunch of people, and I like the vision of the label and the collective. It's good to be part of. And engineering is another thing I do more and more of now, mixing people's albums and stuff. I've been mixing quite a lot of vocal stuff, albums for rappers, and doing the mastering work as well. So yeah, been keeping busy.
Holy crap, man. Yo, you definitely are keeping busy, man. Engineering as well. Yo, man, I didn't even know that part. Yo, shout out to you, Dusty Ohms, man. Staying busy, helping the creatives out here express themselves as well. So thank you for helping them do that. Using your gifts to, help the next generation of creators. So thank you. Man, Loop Sessions. I heard about Loop Sessions. I think it was maybe 6 months ago when they did Loop Sessions LA for the first time, and then I started diving into Loop Sessions when they did it in LA. They went to Ontario, London as well. So I've been watching those videos as well, man. Y'all did an amazing job, yo. Amazing job. Yo, you have an array of music, man, out for listeners to consume and vibe with. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Park Lane OGs, right? Because that's a dope-ass name, by the way. But Park Lane OGs, you got a couple albums out. How did you how did you go with that? But then also talk about the MJM Sessions Volume 1 project. How did those two, entities come together as far as, the sound, the albums and stuff like that? And then, you could talk about who's involved with it as well, man. Shout out to them, man, because the Park Lane OGs albums and then the MJM Sessions Volume 1, that joint slaps, But, talk a little bit about how that came to fruition,
A little chilled project that I'm doing with my good friend. He goes under Fury, ML1. Known him since we were kids, and we're both well into our hip hop. So it's a nice kind of, because I make a lot of wonky stuff as well, and he plays drum and bass, DJing mainly. So it's nice just to have that little output of getting together and doing some digging and sampling some stuff in the kind of like more traditional boom bap, hip hop kind of thing. And the MJM Millennium Jazz Sessions Volume 1 was just the first of a mix series that we're going to do. Again, it's nice and chilled. We collect a lot of records and we have done for years, so we've got shitloads of hip hop, and it's just nice to kind of sculpt together and do little mixes every now and then. And Gadget from Millennium Jazz was keen, so we're running a little series, just going to be us playing some of our favourite hip hop tunes pretty much. And we've got a new single ready. I just need to mix and master it and get some artwork done. We've got another single to come out probably next year now. But it's fun. It's nice and chilled.
Man, amazing, for everybody that don't know, man, go to Dusty Ohms Bandcamp, man. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Go ahead, support via Bandcamp, or any way you can. It's he got some amazing music on there, and he got a treat that I haven't even talked about yet, but y'all need to tap in with the guy, you know what I'm saying? I know you were talking about you were a DJ, and I always ask this question, man. 4 pillars of hip-hop: DJing, MCing, breaking, and graphing. So, which one did you begin your journey with, man? That's what I always like to give a little bit of history, man. You gotta have history, so people understand the history of hip-hop and where we're going with this thing, where we came from with this thing as well.
Do you know what? Although I've been DJing a long time, that was always drum and bass and that kind of stuff. So as far as hip hop goes, it would be graffiti. My friend who I was just talking about, the other half of Park Lane OGs, Fury. I taught him how to mix records, and then he taught me how to graffiti. And after that, the DJing kind of came and tried to scratch for a few years, but not very good. I like just playing hip-hop records and mixing a few, but I'm not very good at turntablism and all the scratching stuff, really. I can just do basic things. Graffiti, and I still paint to this day, quite active. I've got a lot of friends who are street artists and graffiti artists, so I like to stockpile a lot of music actually during these winter months. Like a squirrel, I'll squirrel away a load of beats, and then I'll drip feed them over summer when I don't want to be in the studio quite so much, so I've got stuff to kind of keep me active. In those months I'm normally out painting quite a lot. We've got some good spots in London to paint, so I'm still involved in graffiti. So nice expression, I think. It's good.
Yeah, man. You're a Renaissance guy, man. You're a Renaissance man. You do it all, Like, I'm in the market right now for a new logo. A new logo, man. I think I have ideas, man, but I'm just trying to put it all together, man. Graffiti, that's a dope way to actually think about it, man. In winter months, we cooped up anyway. You don't really want to go outside. Everything's cold, stuff like that, but you're still working and creating as well, man. So, show some of your work, bruh. Show some of your work, So my next question, give it some thought. Can you name your adolescent and adult beat maker superheroes? The beat makers you listened to as a kid, but then also the ones you're listening to now as an adult. And major key alert, no genre is off limits, bro.
Oh man, in the adolescent days, I'd probably have to, it'd be my drum and bass and jungle roots. So it'd be Dillinger would be one of them, I'd say, and Ed Rush and Optical. This was back when making music was still wizardry, and I had no idea what people were doing and how they did it. But Ed Rush and Optical, they found some real interesting stuff to sample, and it always had loads of funk. I don't know, like drum bass can be pretty hard at times, whereas they always managed to inject it with some like funk and soul. Even if it was kind of dark. So they were kind of like superheroes for me when I was growing up as far as music went, and Dillinger is another one. Even now when I listen to his old stuff, I just can't work out how he managed to make it. It's like just everything's so clean, loud and brutal. He's an amazing producer, and pioneered a lot. That would have been growing up. And then fast forward to now, Flying Lotus would be one of them, definitely. Just because of what he's started out as and what he's accomplished, and his evolution, like when you look at his old beat stuff that he started out doing and then now making like mad jazz albums, and the guy's like insane, like the music he makes. All of it's amazing, and I find it inspiring that it feels like he's in his own little pocket where he can kind of make what he wants, and people are receptive to it, and I respect that a lot. And then sonically, the ones would be Sam I Am, definitely. I think if there was one producer that I could make all their tunes, that was my sound, it would be Sam I Am. I absolutely love everything he does. There's no mistaking it when you hear. There's people that sound a bit like it, but you never quite nail how he sounds. It's, so dope. And, in parallel with that would be two UK producers called Ivy Lab. Their roots are in drum and bass as well, and they kind of fused together what I loved of drum and bass and hip hop. So they made beats, but it's like all like real... like the level of production was like drum and bass, sound design and stuff, mixed in with the like funk and swing of beats. They can kind of turn their hand to anything, like drill, grime, any sound, and all of it's sick. So if anyone listening to this hasn't checked out Ivy Lab, I urge you to do so. They're definitely one of my biggest influences.
Yo, everybody you recommended, man. I definitely love tapping into different people that I don't know about. So from the UK side, I'm definitely gonna be tapping in, man. Just to, I guess, just to put more, open up the palette, my musical palette a lot more, man. And that's what I like doing, man. Whenever my guests recommend different people and stuff like that, I'm like, I never heard of that person. Let me go ahead and tap into them, check them out, and man. So thank you for that. And Sam I Am, man. If you ever listen to the show, man, I would love to have you on the show as well. I know you don't you on Twitter sometimes, but you not. But check your DMs, bruh. So I gotta ask this, man. For my listeners who don't know, you joined Education and Bass, in which you teach music production and share your techniques, which is to be commended, man. Like, we got a lot of people inspiring the next generation. Like I said before, you're one of them, man. So I applaud you, man. Thank you. And I wanted to know, can you give some details into what that is, what that's all about, Education and Bass, and how people can support it as well?
Thank you, man. I appreciate you mentioning Education and Bass. Actually, it's a really good platform. It's owned by a guy called Nominate, who's quite a prolific producer in his own right. Got a good team of people there. Raf was who got me involved. I've been doing it for a few years now, although I haven't done any new tutorials for a while. It's basically a website for learning. A lot of tutorials, can do one-on-one tutoring, go around a lot of schools, teaching kids and at colleges as well. Music production, doing Q&As. Yeah, just a general hub for education and learning, the music business and production. It's a pleasure to be involved with them. It's really good work and it's quite satisfying because it's the kind of thing that I wish I had when I was younger. You can sign up for a free membership. They also do like VIP packages and all sorts of stuff for free. Education and Bass is the place. Check it out. Even if you're an established producer and been doing it years, there's still stuff to be learned on there. It covers some like advanced stuff and real basics, so the whole spectrum of learning. You can get involved. There's sample packs and all sorts. Check it out.
That is amazing. Man. Yo, shout out to Education and Bass. Education and Bass is the place. Space is the place, yo. Shout out to Sun Ra, man. Man, Sun Ra, shout out to Raj G as well. Yo, man, you just brought that up in my head. It just popped in my head real quick, yo. But y'all go ahead and support Education and Bass, especially if you're a local and you still learning, which we all are. So we lifelong learners, man. That's what we do on this earth. So yeah, man. Okay. Last two questions as we kind of round this out, man. You're currently out of London, which we all know. What is the beat scene like in your specific area? And how can others support you and other beat makers in your area? If you have some names, like, go ahead, throw them out there, man, that we should be on the lookout for.
Yeah, man, London. What can I say? It's a crazy city. It's very hectic. There's always a lot of stuff bubbling. Because of the size of it, though, and there's so many genres, artists, events, like it's hard to keep on top of. And because it's quite big, things get fragmented at times. So there's various pockets popping. Beat scene wise, there is one. It's not as established as other genres and scenes, but I discovered it through LAB Collective. Do a thing called Beat Meet. Shout out Busy Fingers and Devo. They've not done one for a little while, but I'll post a video actually. I'll link the video so you can check them out. It's like a producer showcase where people come down and do beat sets, beat battles, all stuff like that. I connected with a lot of people through that. It's a good hub. I'm hoping they will pick that up again soon. But in the meantime, some of the guys who used to be regulars there, Rare God, they're putting on an event now as well called Audio Arcade, and that's a monthly thing that they run up in North London. I'll probably put some links for that as well. Really good hub for the community. Again, it's beat sets. They have open slots, so you can just rock down with your sampler or whatever and get involved. MCs, it's just a good vibe. They stream it on Twitch as well for anyone that can't be there in person in the city. So shout out Rare God. They're filling a nice little void at the moment. And then of course we're doing Loop Sessions London now as well. So hoping that's going to be another little hub that can build the beat community and try and pull people from all over the city to these little things going on and grow. As far as it goes with like beat makers and producers, there's a lot of people who kind of dip in and out. Like some guy makes some really like cool stuff. He's got a new EP coming out called Dusty Pizza with Matt Frost, and that's one of the wonkiest projects I've ever heard. So good. And then like Moriarty, like I mentioned, Rare God. There's people up and down the country because obviously the UK is quite small, so it's only like 2 hours to get to Bristol. and up to Manchester, and there's some guys up there doing a lot of stuff as well. I'll probably say the best way to shine a light is follow the Loop Sessions London Instagram account. I'm always sharing on the stories London beatmakers, projects, and shining some light on what they do. So that's a good place to come and check out what we've got bubbling in the city.
Shout out to every single one of them beat makers and collectives that are doing things, man. I'm gonna check them out as well, and I'm gonna also go ahead and link them as well, man. So, what's the one thing you wish you knew before you started your own music and art creation journey, man? I know everybody's got something. What's the one thing you wish you knew before you started?
Yeah, I'm not really too sure, kind of like with life, making your own mistakes, I think, is a good way to learn. But yeah, I'd definitely recommend to people who are starting out not to take things personally, because there's going to be a lot of disheartening things that will happen, like fake promises, and sometimes you get excited about stuff and it won't materialise. So now, until something's set in stone or actually happened, kind of like, I get a bit of a buzz, excitement-wise, but I'm like, well, it probably might not happen. Whereas when you first start out, you hear all sorts of like sick things, and you're like, oh man, this is gonna be so cool, and they don't materialise. So I do know some people have given up on music because they got kind of disheartened about stuff and the scene. So it can be quite fickle and cutthroat, but you'll find good people to work with. That's probably what I would say, actually. Like, find people you gel with and get on with, and work with those, rather than trying to it's nice to do higher profile stuff, but just trying to chase that's not a good look. You're better off just working with people you get on with. It'll make it a much more pleasant experience than just trying to reach all the time. Is something I'd recommend to anyone who's starting out.
Yeah, man. Work with people that you actually get along with, man. That is a jewel, man. Drop the mic, Drop the mic, man. Because like you said, it could be disheartening, but rejection or it's all a part of the game, man. So just keep that thick skin, man. Know it's not personal, and we're gonna keep it moving like that, yo. But let me ask you something, man. Yo, you actually had the pleasure of working with an amazing MC, man, who hip hop in the world. I wouldn't say lost, man, because his music still lives on to this day. It's still hard hitting. Still, his videos still funny. You know what I mean? He's had the sense of humor. You worked with the amazing, incomparable Sean Price. You know what I mean? And on a track called Monster Rap. You also work with other people as well. What was that experience like? But then also, why is he your favorite MC as well, man? Because he's got some amazing raps, man. I think I have a rapper card with a piece of a notebook page inside of the card that rappercards.com put out, man. And I was privileged enough to get one before they sold out, yo. So tell me about that experience. Like, tell me about what that experience was like for you. For my listeners who don't know that you work with the incomparable Sean Price, yo.
Working with Sean Price, that was, it's like a dream doing that. Why is he my favourite MC? I mean, I would just say listen to him. The guy is, the way he rhymes, the way he holds himself. I just bar for bar, he just bodies it. He's like a rapper's rapper, and he's a real guy and like so talented. So such a hole in hip hop since he's gone. He's a big character as well, wasn't he? Like funny. But anyway, recorded Monster Rap. Yeah, it must have been like 2012. Someone was like, "Oh, you should just reach out to him on Twitter or whatever." So I tweeted him and he just DM'd me his number and just said, "Ring me." So I was like, oh man, I was like kind of like shook about it. I was like, oh man, like well nervous. I've got to just call him. And I called him and just chatted to him on the phone for a bit. And he's like, yeah, send me some beats. And then before we do anything, I want to like hear what you're all about and see if we're game to work. So I sent him a folder of beats for a mixtape we were making at the time. And he found one he liked. We worked. He wrote those bars and sent them back. Like, I think I spoke to him that evening. I woke up in the morning and they was in my inbox, like ready to go. They're obviously sick. He's just a machine, isn't he? Yeah, R.I.P. Sean, what a legend.
Yeah, man. Rest in power to legend Sean Price, man. Yo, amazing, man. Like, yo, I don't know a lot of people that have worked with Sean Price, but you were one of the gifted ones, man. So shout out to you, man. And I know it's a lot more people that you're gonna be working with as well. So I can't wait. I'm excited, man. I'm definitely tapped into what you're doing. And look forward to what you're doing as well. But hey, last question. As we, round out 2022 and we get ready to go into 2023, what should the internets look out for from you? Dusty Ohms, you to Park Lane OGs, go ahead and let the internet. How can the internet tap into you, what you're doing, and go ahead, plug your socials, any projects you might have going on, any events with loop sessions that you might have going on, all that stuff.
The first thing would be the third and final beat tape in a series that I've been doing on Millennium Jazz with my man Bear Beats. We do a side each of the tape, and we've done volume 1 and 2. And number 3 is just finished, and that's called the Bear Dusty Beat Tape Volume 3. They're really fun to do. I think we've got nice contrasting styles, and it's one time, because sometimes I'll make things that are a bit more electronic-y and synthy, but this is always a good reason to like get the records out and do some sampling and kind of go down that route. So keep an eye out for that. I've usually got a lot of tracks on compilations and stuff. So tuning into my SoundCloud is a good place to find little bits and bobs like Flipper Beat Club, loop sessions, various compilations. So yeah, all the socials are just Dusty Ohms. And yeah, one of my main focuses for 2023 will be Loop Sessions London. Yeah, really excited to grow that and help do my little bit of pulling the beat community together in London. Yeah, so shout out all the OGs over in Montreal, Schmings, Magnanimous and Dr. Mad and all the team at Serato as well. Should hopefully have some big things moving forward. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'd just like to say thanks again for having me on the podcast. Like I say, I've been a fan for quite a while, so it's an honour to come on here. Hope everyone enjoyed and yeah, has a blessed week. Till next time, peace.
Yeah, man. Yo, thank you, Dusty Ohms, for doing the show, man. I appreciate you for tapping in, man. You stay tapped in, stay providing that feedback on social, man. And man, it was an honor to have you on the show, man. I need everybody that made it to this point to go ahead and follow Dusty Ohms, man. Follow Loop Sessions London as well. Go ahead and support via Bandcamp or streaming. Tap into his music, man. He got something for everybody. He got, you know what I mean, that dubstep. He got that, you know what I mean. He got that boom bap. He got, he got everything, man, like that you would want. So tap into Dusty Ohms, man, and stay tuned, man. We're gonna have a lot more from across the pond, man. We're gonna have a lot more from across the pond, man. It's just, we're just getting started. I'm just letting you know, we're just getting started. All right, 2023 is about to, we're about to heat this motherfucker up, man. All right. So yo, once again, I go by the name of David Golden Mind Hicks, and welcome and thank you for tapping in, man. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for staying this long. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting via the link tree, man. If you want to donate, if you want to become a subscriber to help support the podcast directly, that's another way to do it, man. And just thank you for your ear. And thank you for your time, man. And, you know, I wish you nothing but, I can't stand that word, yo, nothing but. I wish you peace, love, joy, you know what I mean, respect, honor, all of that stuff, yo. All right? And I'm going to see y'all next week very, very soon on another episode of the Rex Show Podcast, man. Peace and love, yo. Pow, 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 pow. Let me go get some tea.
JD was real. You know, man, he one of the greatest. Phenomenal producer in existence.